with my friend Tracy, who I love this place because I, 3 years ago,
Probably, yeah.
met my first Mustang here, who's Sage, who's dining right behind the camera. I'll pan it around to him at the end. And I also met George here. So that's where basically Romeo and Aylin started. So this is where my Mustang journey officially started. So this is Steadfast Steeds, or her Mustang Sanctuary in Glade Park, Colorado, near the National Monument. So the horses are all eating. So I just wanted to talk about today, or ask Tracy about, I just had this epic experience. I was a wonderful, gracious recipient of a horse healing and coaching session. Okay, so let's tell them about horse coaching. Horses, what do you actually call it?
Yeah, so equine facilitated learning. The common language it falls under the umbrella of equine assisted learning. It's non-therapeutic, and I'm here to tell you, if you come here with an anxiety disorder, your anxiety will decrease because the horses are such magical healers. And so they have the ability to just help us be more present and in the moment and calmer and actually notice some things about ourselves that we might not be able to find out on our own. Yeah.
So for me, they were just pulling at me right here, which we kind of got down to like our guts or our inner knowing, and that horses were pulling out self-doubt. So it was pretty epic.
Right,
So I want to hear more about the kids. Kids, coaching with kids.
Oh, yeah. So it's interesting with children, we stop being very present and in our body and worried about judgment when we get into double digits.
Yeah.
Meaning 10, 11, 12 years old, we start worrying about what our hair looks like and how we smell and does that boy think I'm cute and those kinds of things. And we start seeing judgment from the outside of us. Before that, we really don't have that much concern about it. We're more authentic and more present in the moment. We're kind of like puppies. We want to please, we want to be happy and have fun and play. And it's when that judgment starts creeping in to our lives, when we're in, in puberty a lot, that we start saying, what does the world think of me? And that is where it really starts to change for us when we're self-individuating and starting to find out who we are on our own. And then we're also being judged. And so it's really hard to walk through the world with lots of confidence in that place of life.
Yeah. But don't the kids come here?
Yes.
Sometimes? Cool.
Yes. So we've had, in the past, we've had at-risk youth that come here and work with the horses. And we do some volunteer projects. And then when the volunteer projects are completed, we do, I call it pony time. And most of the time we come into this field with these horses and a group of kids that are mostly teenagers, and we all spread out, and then they wait to see who comes to visit with them.
Yeah.
And almost every time the specific horse has a specific message for the kid that it comes to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So their experience would be totally different than mine. Like, I'm sure that they knew I was a horse person because I had 4 and sometimes 5 of them all right here.
Yeah.
They would not do that to a child,
No.
which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a much more, much more. They have an intuitive sense of what we're about. They do know. They know when we're horse people, but they know when we're not. And
they're like, I see you, and I'm gonna get you right now. They knew it's coming to me. Like, we're gonna get you right now.
Yeah.
You know why you came here, and we're not gonna let you leave without getting this message. It was kind of like that.
Yeah. And the pressure is really from the horses as much as we kind of need to be pressured.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then other thing I want to talk to you about is the Pickaxe Mustangs. Pickaxe.
Yes.
Cool. So you are, aren't you the leader?
Yes. So it's funny because it's just changed. Again.
Okay.
Yeah. So Pickaxe Mustangs is a nonprofit citizen volunteer group that supports the horses of the Pickaxe Douglas HMA,
Which
kind of in the
is?
middle of the state.
Of Colorado.
Yes, of Colorado. Yep, that's right.
We have lots of wild Mustangs in Colorado.
Yes, we do. And so that particular herd hasn't had a darting team for birth control or a management team to help count foals and really see how the herd functions and dynamics.
Yeah.
And so in 2018, we started a group to do that. We go out and we pick up dead, old old barbed wire that's dangerous for all the animals on the range. We help with water projects so that the horses have water to drink, because this is high desert where the horses live, and the water is an issue. So we've helped with water projects. And then one of our main goals is to help with the darting program on that range.
Yep.
So when we started, I was the president. I stepped out last year because I had some other things that we were working on here, and they had somebody else who wanted to be the president at that time. And that president has now stepped back again. So somebody else, somebody else in the group stepped into the president role, and I'm going to be the treasurer.
Cool.
Meaning there won't be as much commitment from me, but I'll still be on the board, and I'll still be able to help with the books and stuff.
And I have not even bridged this with anything I've said on here, but the darting. So horses get gathered, but there is actually a humane birth control for them, which is darting. So you'll know more about that than me.
Yes, I have been certified in the dart projectors.
Cool.
So one of the types of birth control that we can utilize with the horses that's really non-invasive, it's reversible, and it's showing good promise on lots of ranges. Two really good promising range results have been at the Spring Creek Basin, which is in Colorado, and the Little Book Cliffs, which is in Colorado. The Sand Wash Basin has had the darting program for a few years, but they have lots and lots of horses there, so it's taking longer to see the impact of it. And it's working. Yeah. It's working. So what happens with the particular birth control that I've been trained with is it changes the keyhole. So all it does is makes the boy's part not match the girl's part. And so when there's copulation and fertilization, it doesn't happen because the key is different than the keyhole, and it's reversible. It's not hormonal. It's very.
So you dart them.
Yes.
Like you aim and.
Yes, and you have to be within about 50 yards. Because the darts are heavy, it is a vaccination. So the vaccination goes into the horse and the dart falls out, and then it's supposed to prevent a birth of 1 year. So 1 year the mare can't get pregnant, but she still has the same
cycle
behavior. And the same cycles.
Sounds like.
Because it doesn't affect her hormonal process.
Cool.
It only makes it so fertilization doesn't happen.
Who invented that?
Dr. J. Kirkpatrick.
Cool.
Yeah.
Where's he at?
He's out of Montana.
Cool. I was guessing
out of a university in Montana. Yeah.
Cool.
He passed away a couple years ago, but
Awesome.
the women who have been working with him have been continuing his program, and they use this type of birth control on lots of different animals.
Cool.
Not just wild horses. Elephants.
Wow.
Big game.
Yeah.
And so they've been working with other places to use that type of birth control.
Cool.
Yeah. There are other types of birth control that have been suggested to use with wild horses, but in my opinion, this is probably the best way for us to do it.
Yeah.
It takes a volunteer and a dart, and the dart, the actual PZP is about $12.
Okay.
Whereas gathering a horse, instead of preventing the birth, gathering horse costs over $2,000. That's just to gather it. Then
And it scares the shit out of them.
Yeah, and it costs taxpayers over the horse's life in holding after it's been gathered and not adopted. Costs taxpayers more than $10,000 each horse.
Each horse.
Yes.
Which is where Romy, all of these horses were headed.
Yep.
But people got them. She got them. I got some.
Yep.
Cool. So how many horses do you have here?
Yeah, that's always the ding, 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 ding question.
How many?
18 horses and 1 donkey.
Nice.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All Mustangs except Mazaka.
And she's half Mustang. Yep.
Super cool Appaloosa. I'm going to take a picture of her and post it too.
Yay.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Sage is behind us. He was my first Mustang that I met. I met Tracy and Sage here for animal communication class with Anna and George. So it was wonderful. And now it's funny because we're talking today. It's like we're both going back and forth about what our horses told us. So,
right.
Cool. Is there anything else you would want to say? That was super great.
Good.
We covered a lot of topics.
Yeah,
but if there's anything else that you want to say on here.
Well,
go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, tell about Lakota. You participated in a show. What did you do? This is cool.
Yeah. So he was part of, you can see his butt here, his pretty tail and his
Yeah,
white
he has
legs
great
over
hair.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was part of a program called Mustang Million, and we went to Oregon to get him. I thought it was funny. We went all the way to Oregon to get him, but we have wild horses right here in our state. But the way that the program works is that there's a pool of horses. The makeovers work that way too.
Yeah.
And so he came from that pool, and we went to Oregon to get him, and then I had 120 days from snorting and making the rubber burn in the trailer.
Did you win?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I wish.
In my head, you had won.
I know. For me, I did win.
Yeah,
because one of the reasons I went was just to say I did this.
Yeah.
I did this. I'm not a horse trainer. I socialize horses. We build relationships.
Yeah.
And once you build relationships, then a lot of things the horse just says, "Oh, what are we doing now?" Because we have a relationship. They do have to get desensitized to the jingly things, and I wasn't really excited about putting a bit in his mouth. And so one of the classes I rode, I didn't ride him in a bit. I rode him without the bit. He is a super fun horse, and so personality plays into a lot of that too. Yeah. And I was glad that was the horse that I chose for that program, because he did come around very quickly. So many horses don't come around in 120 days.
So didn't you take him to a Mustang, a Ford Mustang thing?
Oh, yes. That's right. So
Ford Mustangs.
Yes, ma'am.
It's
a really great thing. So there's an organization in the Valley that's a nonprofit, and they did a car show. And the year that we took Dakota, or that we invited Dakota to go, it was the 50th anniversary of the Mustang car.
Nice.
So they were really showcasing the Mustang car, and so he was in the commercial and on the poster for the event, and it was really fun for the car show. And then when we were out there, we got to take him out and have him on the field out there at Canyon View Park, and I walked him around, and I went down the row of the Mustang cars, and every single car I stopped and took a picture.
The Mustang with the Mustang.
The Mustang with the Mustang. Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
So then one thing I learned today is that horses don't have a frontal lobe. And so this is one thing before my session that we were discussing and Tracy was teaching me about, was horses don't have a frontal lobe, their brain and their heart.
Oh, you want to hear about that?
Yeah,
that's really cool. Sure.
Like the battery will die.
Yeah. So when we put a horse consciousness in next to our consciousness, we as creatures with a lot of gray matter, we do a lot of thinking. And when we put us in contrast with the horse's functional brain is only about this big. And you see, our brain is really big. So we do a lot of thinking in contrast. When you compare us to the horse with the heart, their heart's like 4 to 5 times the size of our heart. And then look at the size of the gut on the horse. I don't know if you can see how big his barrel, his middle is, in contrast to how big our gut is. Yeah. And so that gut brain is what the horse relies on the most. It's got intuition. The most, yeah. And it really looks like I think, I feel, I know. And horses know when they're safe, and they know when they're not. And they don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about it. They trust their gut. Yeah. So the message for me when I'm interacting with my horses a lot of the times is, what does my gut say? How can I trust my gut and believe that I really have this deep knowing? But we really have to drop down from here down to here and feel it. And a lot of times we get stopped right here, us humans. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Hearts and guts.
Yep. Yeah, cool.
High five.
High five,
Thanks
girl.
so much.
Yes,
I had a great day. It's just good. It's super special out here for me. Like I said. So because my first Mustangs.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, see ya.